Hi, everybody. This is Yvonne, and thanks again for joining me for this week's edition of Get Your Money Right. And last time we chatted, the first thing I wanted to know is how you're doing and just kind of see how the week's going. What challenges have you had? And I'm not even going to say, have you had any challenges? Because I know you have. So just stop and think about it and go, okay, what do I need to deal with? There are things I need to do, things I need to address, and what did I go about doing? And I'll just kind of tell you that for me, I've just been, that realization that hits you that for whatever reason, whatever your reasons are, that promotions may not be in the cards for you any longer. And I kind of hit that wall and go, okay, well, it is what it is. And it isn't just about the income and the chance to advance. For me, another thing that I am struggling with is paying student loans. And let's see, I graduated the last time in 2011. So I've been making student loan payments now for what's that, 13, 14 years. And how do you describe this? I took out a certain amount of money and had every intention of paying it off with the advances in my career that never quite happened. So I've been making payments steadily, that no one can ever say I was not taking care of my responsibilities. But keep in mind, the payments that were created for me did not cover all of the interest. And that's something to understand when you're talking about student debt. It's done differently than any other debt. So, anybody who's struggling with it, and I know there are millions of you out there doing the exact same thing. So, here I am 13, 14 years later after payments, and I know I now owe 20 grand more than I took out. That's a staggering amount, isn't it? And it's all about the interest because I wasn't paying enough to pay down all of the interest. So what happened is the interest kept accruing, kept accruing, kept accruing. And so then it's capitalized on the amount that I took out. So it's up 20 grand. So it's kind of okay, work is not going to help me pay that off. What are my other options? And this is what we all have to do about life. You have certain bills, certain responsibilities you have to take care of every month. And I don't care what anybody says, we are all on a fixed income. So retired or working, fixed. This is what you make, this is what you bring in. And how do you get your expenses to meet that? And that's some of what we've been talking about every week is that you just have to kind of look at it and go wants versus needs and just be surgical in that. I love my friends dearly and I want to make sure that I stay connected and that we do things and we keep in touch, stay in one another's lives. But that whole thing of doing something with them every week, unless it's free, I simply cannot do it. It's just not going to happen. Then you can kind of pare down and go, okay, so we can't go to dinner and drinks or lunch and drinks or whatever you decide to do. We can't do that on a weekly basis. I simply can't afford it. And I'm guessing, truth be told, maybe some of them is the exact same thing. So, what can we do that's free or considerably cheaper? I do have one friend, we get together on a regular basis and we just do coffee. Whether I buy a cup there occasionally or bring my own mug, something just sit down and just have that time with friends. Because it doesn't have to be all about how much you spend, it's about the time with that person, not the money, but the time. So just look at ways you and your family compare back. We have to. And one of the things that scared me and hit me when I was much younger is I used credit cards far too much. I was living beyond my means using my credit card to help with that. And one day I kind of woke up and go, can't have this anymore. The credit card is for emergencies, or I can use that credit but plan to pay it off every single month. So whether it's $400 to pay that month or $1,000, I had to have money in savings to be able to pay off that card. And I've kept myself on track a number of years now. I had to, you come to the realization you can't spend more than you earn. You just can't. And I get it. Families, you're having quality time with your children or whomever. You're having quality time with those that you love, and that's important. But it doesn't have to all be about what you spend to have those good times with people. So how are you doing with that? I know we talked earlier about writing everything down. What do you bring into your home? What are your bills? What's the money you're putting away for savings? Because whether it's for some sort of an expense that pops up or your retirement, you need to be putting money away in savings. I read somewhere that a good deal of Americans, if they had to come up with $500 for an emergency, they could not do that. That scares me. The whole business that there are a ton of people out there living so much on the edge, they don't have the ability to take care of themselves. Then they fall into all sorts of traps, that payday lending, that sort of thing, that it's a trap. Please, I beg of you, do not fall into those kinds of traps. Look at your money that you're bringing in, look at what's going out, and cut where you can. We all have to do that. It's just about taking care of yourself. You want to live for today, absolutely. Have a good time. That doesn't mean you have to spend more than you make. You just don't. You just don't have to. So you're living for today. You're also living for tomorrow, because life expectancies have gone up, haven't they? 80 years ago, 60 was old. Now look at how many people over 90, over 100 there are in this country, the United States, or around the world. That has increased. And know that you need to have enough saved to take care of yourself now and to plan on 100. Just that's something to guide you. And, I was reading something where a lady, I can't remember the dollar amount. Let's say she had $1 million, and she was asking money experts, does she have enough to retire? Well, that's a loaded question, because how much are you spending right now? That's what you need to determine, how much you're spending. And keep in mind, expenses are going to go up. And just determine, what are you spending now? Then plan to add, 10-20% on top of that to get to where you might be spending in the future. And will your money last to enable you to do that? And remember, you don't have to make the six figures. You don't have to make 100,000, 200,000, 100,000, 300,000 or up to be able to take care of yourself in retirement. Like we were discussing more, I've never hit the six figures, and it just hit me like a thunderbolt that is never going to happen for me. And that's okay. Does it hurt a little bit? Oh, sure it does. But it is what it is, and that's what we all have to look at. This is our life, and I am very happy with the life I have, the life I'm creating, the life I'm living, my husband and I. You have to be grateful for what you have. I have my health. I have some savings, and I will keep saving until I am not working anymore to be able to continue the lifestyle that I have and to do some fun things too. It's super important that we have fun with our lives. You want to be able to look back on it and go, I enjoyed that. I had a good time. You remember when we did fill in the blanks? But it doesn't have to all be about how much you spend to get yourself to that point. And with that, folks, I always have a fun time chatting with you. And I'm hoping at some point this will become a two-way dialogue. You'll be able to write in and share struggles that you have. And just know there are no experts here. We're living our lives and we're just sharing how we're going through it with you. We want you to share, what's going on with you and just, back and forth and help one another. That's what this is all about. So I am so grateful, everybody, for your time, your attention. And then, the next time on Get Your Money Right, I'm thinking something along the lines of how do we save? What vehicles do we have to enable us to be able to do that, to take care of ourselves now and in the future? Thanks again for joining us for Get Your Money Right. Have a great day. Bye bye.